Hi guys, I am back with the second installment of the journey through the major arcana because, as you may know, linearity doesn't really exist in the higher realms of pure essences and eternal symbols, and um, and so we need to go backwards through the major arcana to complete our journey, because this is the spirit's journey into completion, into the human existence. It's somewhat something I picked up from reading the Illuminatus trilogy by Robert Anton Wilson and Robert Shea. Way at the end of the back of the book, he drops this gem that you need to perceive the major arcana and the reverse to understand the spirit's journey. And so I'd love to take this journey with you, because here we are in the universe, number 21, like, and it's the 2 and the 1, like this magical numerology again. But this is, of course, the all, like, this is the universe, this is the all that is, this is divine creation, this is source manifesting itself as everything, and then it expresses itself in the eon. So it becomes a time cycle, it becomes a framework in which heavenly bodies and planets can arrange themselves and put themselves in place, so something can come to be. And so what can come to be? It's the luminous radiance of the star. You need to put or the sun, right? You need to put a sun in the sky in order to be able to have a realm down here that can be inhabited. You also need a moon. You need this balance and this sort of, notice the moon again, which kind of brings the shadow energy of the sun present by actually allowing itself to be illuminated in a different way at nighttime. So it's also speaks to the balance or the arrangement of the energies down here. Then you need stars. You need this individual spirit, this twinkle, this light set of flame within this realm you have created. And you need the tower, right? You need some time of crisis, some primordial chaos. So evolutionary speaking, this would be like the volcanic prehistory of our planet, which is still, of course, volcanically active, but you know, the period when the Earth was still cooling down and the atmosphere was made of gaseous vapors and everything. This is the tower, and you also need the rebellious spirit, or that thing which breaks apart from the divine source and binds itself into that chaotic space, which is the devil. And here you have the admixture of the elements then within this breaking apart. So notice that we are coming into, fractally speaking, into smaller and smaller fractals. So the Earth is surrounded by stuff. And sorry, something is beeping here, but like the Earth is ingrained within these patterns, right? So the universal all, and then the eon, the time cycle, and then the solar system and the heavenly bodies, and that's placed. And then we come to the atmospheric creations and that chaos, and the aberrant spirit, which is the creative spirit in many ways. It's why the romanticists loved Milton's Satan, for instance. It's because he's also the rebellious spirit of creation that insists that everything can't just be order, but there's also there's a creative process to it, right? And with that also comes the passing of shapes. So when you create something, when you mix together the elements into creation, they also have to be mortal, so to speak. They have to be temporal and temporary, and to pass away. And so here you then come into the element of personality, because personality then, or incarnation, we could say, exists in the framework of course, death. This is how we become aware of ourselves. This is how we are limited into existence. And this is indeed what universal spirit, which is our true nature. Our true nature is the universe, the world, the all. But it's undergoing, it's allowing itself for the hanging, the dangling within these realms of difference, the sacrifice that's needed to be brought about to have this experience. And what is the experience it's having? Well, it's lust, it's fundamental attraction, it's Geist, as the Germans call it, which means sort of good cheer in Danish, but it's sort of this animated principle of life force itself, which is of course lust, strength, and a naked lady on a lion carrying a torch, that's pretty obvious in its symbolism. Some very strong, forceful symbols there. And then, of course, what does that turn into? Well, it turns into this cycle of existence. It turns into, well, life force being also the subject of change, of shifts, of experience. So here we come into the realms of greater change. We could say that the subtle realms of the incarnation, of being present. And here, well, what's the fundamental circumstance of incarnation, of being something rather than the all? Well, it's loneliness, right? It's isolation. So here's the hermit. And this is then mastered through a balancing act, like through balancing this universal part of your being, the thing that's brought into creation, with we could say, the energies of contemplation. And the hermit is balanced with the energies of activity, of forcefulness, of striving within the chariot. These hopefully reach a union in the lovers, this beautiful marriage of these separate forces that reside within the individual. And this merges into like maturity. Again, this type of senior card, the wise man, wisdom, expressed here, good counsel, and that moves into worldly power. So also this idea that here, by mastering your existence, you become a master of your domain, so to speak. You become the emperor of your existence. This is tempered by, well, what does the emperor engage in? Well, he engaged in soft pursuits of arts, of beauty, of love, of wise governance, of these things which are expressed in the empress. And well, what do they serve? They in many ways serve this, well, the bringing forward of the beautiful mother. So for instance, and we can say this symbolistic, a symbolic path, we can trace it in the cult of the Holy Virgin in medieval times. So what is it that you're protecting? What's the innermost core? What is it? This sort of emperor, empress, their marriage is supposed to protect. Well, it's the sacred divine feminine, and it's the core of life, right? And here you have in this depiction also these ovary looking symbols, which of course will speak to, it's the generation of new life, of new order, of new personality. And that is expressed within the symbol of the mage, the actualized human being who's in charge of their own destiny, who controls these realms of, we could say, the world, the universe, and wields them around themselves, activating their destiny, and fully embodied within themselves, in control of the heavens, and divining the will of fate, and expressing it within their life. And then, of course, that gives way for the perfected human being, which is just the stumbling fool, the person who has surrendered to the zero, right? The person who is who allows themselves to cheerfully look at the sky while they stumble across the ledge into the abyss, which is in reality the image of what we are all doing. We could say like looking at the sky while stumbling into the abyss of death. And if we're able to be cheerful and happy while we do that, then we have reached the perfected journey of spirit, incarnated spirit fully into human experience. And we do that by living Le Mat, the fool here. So card number 0. And so that was the journey of the spirit as it moves into human experience. And I hope you thought it was interesting to see it reversed like that, and see how you can play around with these deep archetypes. And of course, the reason that they speak to us is because there's none of us need to have explained what's a fool, or what's the sun about, or what's a hermit. Like, these are figures that crop up across time and space in different cultures, and have certain energies, and that's of course why it speaks to us in such a deep way. So may you feel, as you move onwards on your path with good cheer, that you are at one with the universe, and much love to you out there, guys.